Hey guys, my name is Evan and welcome to Country View Acres. So today we are trying to finish the fencing for this pasture area that I'm standing in, and we are on our last stretch of fence. We're pulling from the top of the pond dam all the way out here to behind this barn right here. And we've just got done stretching our barbed wire, and we're going to pull that down and nail that to the bottom of our posts, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to get out our field fencing. And we're going to try to do the same thing. We're going to try to stretch it from the top of the pond dam all the way out here. And hopefully we'll be able to get that stretched, get it pulled down and attached to the posts, and then we'll be done fencing in our pasture area. So ready for this to be done and over with. This has been a long, big project. So let's go ahead and finish this up. Ready? You got gloves on, right? Okay. All right. Keep going. So we've got 3 partial rolls of this field fencing left over, and none of them are long enough to pull this entire stretch of fence. So we're gonna have to end up splicing a couple rolls together here. So we've taken the first roll and we've tied it off to this post at the top side of the dam. And this fence is going down here at an angle. It's probably sitting about 25-degree angle. So we had to strip out these vertical stays. We had to strip it out pretty far to be able to tie it off to the post and weave it through the existing fence on this side. So we couldn't have any vertical stays past this point. So this last one, you can see we've got about an 18-inch gap, 20-inch gap up here at the top. And then at the bottom, I've only got about 2 inches at the bottom. So you do end up with some horizontal openings in the fence that get bigger as you go up. But I'm not really worried about that because, you know, high tensile fencing is only horizontal wires, and it's still tighter at the bottom where the small animals will be. So I'm not really worried about that. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna grab another roll of fencing, we're gonna splice it to this one, and then we'll figure out how we're gonna stretch this fence. So what I'm gonna do to splice this together is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna use gripples because I think I'm not real confident in what we're doing today. So I think if I put gripples on here, for some reason I don't have something tight, I'll still be able to tighten each wire individually if I need to. So I think this is a good choice instead of using a crimp. At least this is going to give me some flexibility. So we've spliced our 2 rolls of fencing together, and we stretched it from the top of the dam all the way to the other end. And we're trying to tighten this up, and it's not really working out for us. So we've got the bottom wire on the fence is as tight as I really want to get it. I don't want to go too much more. And then the top wire on here, it is just still really loose on the top. And I've already got the stretcher bar. I've tried tightening it a little bit extra, and I've got that stretcher bar kind of leaning over. And there's still quite a bit to take up on the top of this fence. So I was trying to figure out where my problem is, and I've decided that the problem lies where I tied it off at the top of the dam. When you look that over a lot closer, you can tell that the top of that fence, when I tied it off, the top of that fence should have been over about 4 more inches when I tied it off. So that's giving me about 4 inches of slack at the top of this fence. So it's not really working out. So I could try tightening the stretcher bar and try tightening. It'll lean quite a bit over, and it's not going to look right. All my vertical stays on the fence, instead of being straight up, they'll all be leaning to the side. And it would do the same thing if I used the gripples to try to tighten it up. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to plan B. We're going to just break this into 2 fences, or stretches of fence. We're going to pull from the top of the dam down to this brace, and then from this brace down to the other end. So we're going to go ahead and cut this fence and start stretching it the short run down the dam. Okay. Yeah. Good and tight. Thank you. So last night we did get this stretch of fence down the backside of the dam. We stretched it, we tied it off to this post, and I was really afraid that this would end up going loose on me. It's such a short stretch of fence. Longer stretches are a lot more forgiving, and everything stayed nice and tight. I mean, you can see that the fence is nice and tight. It's got a nice vibration to it. It's a good tight fence. So I just need to go ahead and attach it to the posts, and then we just got one more stretch of fence to do, and then we're done with field fencing. And I'm ready for this to be over with for sure. So let's go ahead and get to it. So one thing I've been doing to hold the fence up while I tie it off to the first post, I've just been using these spring-loaded T-post clips from Lockjaws. I just use that to just help hold the fence upright while I tie it off, and then I'll take these down before I stretch the fence. I could also put a couple temporary staples in this brace to help hold the fence up as well, just until I tie it off, and then we'll pull them out. drilling a hole to feed that wire through this brace. Makes it a lot easier to tie off. Just make a little notch in there for it. Should go quicker when I get to the bottom. Or get past this brace, it'll go quicker. So I think the more and more I do this, I think I'm getting better and better at kind of tying off a little bit tighter and not having as much loose fence in between the stretcher bar and the post. So I'm pretty confident if we let off of this, the fence is still going to stay nice and tight. All right, we got our last stretch of fence done, and I can say that me and Rebecca are both very happy that this is over with. We were really getting tired of messing with fence, that is for sure. And I'll tell you what, I have been sore for the last week messing with this. So there's not too much left. We've got a little bit to button up over here, where we've got to put a stock panel over where the culvert is we put in, and then we've got a gate to hang up there, and then we're pretty much done. So let me show you a few things up here a little closer up, and show you a couple of mistakes that I made while we're putting this together. So here at this brace at the base of the dam, when I stripped this fence out to tie it off, I actually cut it off too short. Didn't give myself enough room. One thing is this fence is angled, so I needed to kind of cut it off angled when I did it. And you can see I had to end up putting some splices in here and put a scrap piece of fence on there so that I could tie those off. So something that I've always tend to do is I hate stripping out this fence, so then I don't give myself enough extra wire to be able to tie off. And it's really beneficial to have extra wire when you're tying all that off. So I did end up being short one T-post. I need one more T-post to put in there, and we'll have to go pick that up hopefully this afternoon. So here at the top of the dam where we tied off our fence, I was originally thinking that this first horizontal stay, I should have had this over 4 to 6 inches when I tied it off, and maybe it would have tensioned up correctly. But the more I think about it, this fence post at the top, it's plumb, and the one at all the way at the other end's plumb also. So I don't know, maybe I should have tied it off with the fence completely horizontal, and maybe it would have pulled fine that way. I'm not for sure where I went wrong or what the deal was, but I'm pretty sure that it has to do with how I tied it off to this post is why I couldn't get it to stretch all the way and stretch evenly. But really, in the end, when I tied it off to that center brace down there, that alleviated that whole problem, and this ended up, you know, we were able to stretch that and tie it off, and everything looks good. Now, I'd thought this over several times, and I'd thought about doing 2 stretches. I just hated to be able to have to tie it off 2 more times. I was trying to be lazy, I guess, by trying to do one pull. And in the end, it was probably better just to separate it like we did. So on this center brace here, we did the concrete in these holes, these posts right there. We did that a week ago. So this is all completely set up. And when we tensioned all this up, it's funny, you can see that the brace moved down there and you can see the brace moved at the other end, but you can't tell that these posts have shifted at all. Seems like the concrete in those holes really held this brace firm. It didn't seem like it shifted one bit. So I think that'll work out. I know a lot of people are worried that I'm gonna have some post rot with concrete around them. I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see, you know, I mean, time will tell. So this is kind of a wet area, and the reason being, we're getting all the water coming off the backside of the dam, and then the emergency overflow on the dam actually kind of flows around the dam, and it comes down like right here and flows down. So we do get a lot of just natural runoff. All the pasture goes downhill this direction. So this is kind of a wet area. So even if they were in concrete or not, I think they're going to be sitting in a wet area. But we'll wait and see, you know, over time, whether these, you know, whether this all holds in place and everything stays nice and firm, nice and tight. So Rebecca's over here staying out of the camera for now. You glad this is done?
Yes, definitely. It was exhausting.
And it was nasty. The weather changed. We're in mud season right now.
Yeah, but it's been extremely cold. There's like snowflakes today.
It's snowing right now.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't see it in the camera, but there's actually like little, it's spitting a little bit of snow out here today. Yeah. We got a bunch of crap we need to clean up, don't we? We got all this scrap wire and all the tools to put away.
Yep.
Every time we've been out here, Rebecca keeps playing with the cats. All the barn cats come out here.
There's one in the tree behind you.
Yeah, and she just ends up playing with the cats out here. So I've had some comments on why would I go to so much effort to build a fence? Why couldn't I just throw in some posts and just run some electric wire and call it good? Well, I'm really trying to build a fence that is built right and will last 20 to 30 years if that's possible, and it would last me basically through my retirement. So I'm hoping to build it once, build it right, and then it'll last me the rest of my life. And in this area we are keeping multiple animals. We have chickens in here and goats, and I'm running this tighter weave to keep the chickens in. This actually will help keep the chickens in, and it will help keep some of the predators out for the goats, you know, since they're a smaller animal. Now in the future, if we end up getting, you know, cows and we decide to always keep cattle, if we fence in more pasture areas, we probably will do like a high tensile electric wire to keep in that area. And it'll probably, you know, it'll probably be a lot easier to run. It'll be a lot cheaper to run. And, but I'll still build it the same. I'd build it like this. I'd build it where it was made to last. You know, so I could build it once and never have to mess with it, just have to maintain it. So you may see in the future, we may run some high tensile electric and use that in the future. But in this area right here, I'm pretty happy that we ran the fencing that we did, and it's going to pretty much give us an unlimited variety of animals. This should be able to keep in any type of animal in this area if we want to. Well, I think Rebecca is ready to get this all cleaned up and go inside and warm up. So we will be back in one more video on this. We're gonna do the gate. We'll get everything kind of wrapped up, and then we'll let the goats and the chickens out here for the first time, and then we'll try to get some drone footage of the completed pasture and how it looks. So I think that's it for today, guys. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. I might take 2 people to do this one.